Alright guys, we're going to make this a fast one. We're going to give you 5 handy dandy big ideas, big umbrellas, theses that you can put in your back pocket and hopefully take out and slay any thematic essay that you might get. At least it's a start. So of course a thesis is a big idea, and the cool thing about this is you really can make them work the way that you want to make them work. So here are my top 5. There are many more, but let's do it right now. Gangsta style, number 1. The first one really is when poo-poo hits the fan, somebody loses their rights. During times of crisis, rights become limited. It's a freedom and order gig. That's the balance in any government and society. The government takes a little bit of your freedom to establish a little bit of order. But when there's a big event like 9/11 or World War II or World War I or the Civil War, that generally there's some trade-off in terms of civilians giving up their civil liberties. In World War I, this would be protesters and socialists. In World War II, it's Japanese Americans. Of course, Jews during the Holocaust. In World War II, to the extreme example, 9/11, Arab Americans. I can use this example, this thesis, anywhere I want. Mr. Trouble never hangs around. Change happens, but it happens slowly. This is an easy one, guys, and it's really true. History is really the story of human progression. But at times, we can take a look really at most changes, innovations, progress, civil rights, all that sort of stuff, and it just takes a long time. We could look at women's suffrage in the United States starting at Seneca Falls in like 1848, 1920 until the 19th Amendment, and then really not till the 1960s until we see civil rights written into law for women. The same thing is true for African Americans. We could take a look at really any group, and that change is going to be incredibly slow. So use that thesis. If you're stuck, you don't know what to do, put it up in the opening paragraph, open up that umbrella, and cover yourself. Number 2, when it's time to change, change happens at the bottom, not the top. This is really the grassroots idea. And generally, the analogy that I would use to explain it is sort of like that power, authority, government, every government is basically okay with the status quo. They like their power, they like their positions, that's how they got there. They don't like a lot of change, they don't like a lot of shifting of the sands. So if you think of a government in a sort of a way of having their hands up, like they're really like comfortable. So in a sense, when people begin to protest, when people begin to muckrake, write books, articles, march in the streets, in a sense it's like fire, right? Fire at the bottom of the grass. Bottom of the grass roots, and that fire eventually reaches the feet of the government, and eventually that government takes action, and then we get some sort of reform. Maybe not as much reform as they wanted, but that's how change happens. So change starts at the bottom and kind of brings itself, well, I guess smoke rises. Look at this analogy working for us. Change starts at the bottom. You smell that? Stink don't stink until it's in your backyard. The stink thesis. I'll clean that up a little bit when you're putting it in your historical essay, but the idea is basically that people, when made aware of other people's problems, will generally take action. That if I don't know about an idea, if I'm ignorant in a sense, that I can't take action. So if I'm taking a look, for instance, at The Power of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and that book bringing, in a sense, slavery, the stink of slavery, to the North, to people reading it in the luxury of their houses in Boston, that stinks. And now that they smell it, we're going to see a rise in abolitionism. This could be with a law, something like the Fugitive Slave Act, if we stick with the slavery concept, right? And when we're bringing slavery into the North, in a sense, by making them culpable in terms of escaped slaves, then we're going to see a rise in abolitionism. John Brown, right? That song, I can always hear it, right? John Brown's body is a moldering, and it's a song that stinks. And more people sing it, more people get angry. Emmett Till, this works really well with civil rights, right? That's really the beginning of the civil rights in the 1950s when they put that poor boy's face on Look magazine and the nation sees what Jim Crow looks like, that incredibly grotesque photo. That's when change begins. So stink don't stink until it's in your backyard. I could tell you something shocking right now and then you want to go do something about it. Freedom is intoxicating. This is the M concept, the idea that once you expose people to liberty, they want more liberty. It steamrolls. I can use this with Soviet Union history, when Gorbachev introduces glasnost and perestroika in the USSR, and when people get a taste of that freedom, the walls come crashing down. I can use this as a long-term cause for the American Revolution, looking at like the House of Burgesses and the Mayflower Compact as being early self-government representational ideas that the colonists were allowed to enjoy. And man, that tastes good, and they're going to remember that because the M&M concept always works. All right, guys, that's 5 umbrellas that you should be able to put in your back pocket and hopefully take it out and cover yourself when it's raining essays on those tests. So giddy up for the learning, guys. If you haven't subscribed to HipHughes History, we have over 300 videos. They're all kinds. Just go look at them. Subscribe. Hit the red button. It's not going to cost you anything or anything like that. And then I'll tell you the last thing that I'm going to tell you. I always want to tell you. Where attention goes, energy flows. We'll see you next time that you press my buttons.